This NFL Conference Championship Picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey everybody, Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this, let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kram?
Dog. We're not on the screen.
No. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. Kramer unplugged the video mixer.
We're plugged in. Hold on.
Okay.
You can hear us though, so keep talking.
All right. Should we start the show over again?
We can. It would take some time.
All right. While Ryan figures out the video, shout out to the chat. I see the chat is alive and well. Getting into it. We already got some trash talk going on. We already got people throwing out parlays. Corbin likes the Kelsey, Ertz, Knox, Goddard. I'm assuming this is a touchdown parlay. 269-1 over on DraftKings. Of course, promo code SGP.
Oh my God.
Daquan the Great saying, I don't see Jaden Daniels and the Commanders scoring less than 35 points. Well, I don't know. I certainly see them scoring a lot less than 35 points, Daquan. So you're about to be, I think come Sunday, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. I would be shocked, I tell you, if the Commanders get the 35 points. But again, I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Kramer, you got the video turned on. Great work.
That's wild.
What's happening?
I don't know. Could be all this energy, all this energy, this championship energy that's been flowing through the office.
Oh, it's great. I'm fired up. Everyone has been coming at the Eagles the entire week. Chip on the shoulder, backs against the wall. It for a team that's a 6-point favorite that has gone 16-3 leading up to this game. The amount of disrespect. It's like, I almost want to say this is like a nobody believes in us team because of the amount of shit talk our quarterback and our team has gotten in general, and everyone's standing in line to crank the hog at Jaden Daniels. And I saw some of the feedback in the chat. Oh, you guys, you didn't praise the Commanders enough. You didn't get. I thought I was going to expect you. Oh, I was so wrong. I'm happy to admit I was wrong. I didn't think they were going to go in and beat the Detroit Lions. Hats off to them. That was a great win. I said hats off a number of times. That is me tipping my hat. And I would take my hat off, but the audience is very mean about my my head. But yeah, to me, the story that jumped out at me was Detroit kind of blowing it. Detroit not running the ball. Detroit, Jared Goff. Maybe I just got distracted as an owner of Jared Goff Sucks Island. Like Jared Goff throwing all those interceptions, and the Commanders deserve a ton of credit for getting to the conference championship game with the rookie quarterback. Deserve all the credit. Huge win going into Detroit and knocking them off. Ryan, what are your thoughts? We're here. We're going to talk NFL. We got 2 games. We do have a whole picks or a whole props episode tomorrow with CJ, but we got 2 big games: AFC Conference Championship, NFC Conference Championship.
I think it's a delightful matchup. Checks a number of boxes for me personally and professionally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
were you trying to put the hex on the Eagles by playing Joe Theismann, aka Theismann, on the opening part of the show?
That had nothing to do with.
Okay.
Which, by the way, his defense of the Commanders' name change may not look great in a couple seasons.
Especially when they switch back to Redskins.
I think this is what's going on. I think we have on one side, we got Chiefs Bills. Everything's right in the universe. It's exactly what we needed to see. I think that's fine. Everyone's going to be happy about this game. Unfortunately, I tried the entire week to handicap it. My time was spent this week just trying to find a way to end on a different outcome than the obvious outcome of the Chiefs as a short favorite. On the other side, I've been a little surprised at how on edge you are this week, leading up to a conference championship game against the Commanders.
What do you mean on edge? I'm extremely.
It's still you seem like you're a little bit on edge.
I'm annoyed at the
Annoyed.
trash talk that's being thrown. I mean, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders deserve a ton of credit. They're getting a ton of credit. If you watch any sort of like high level sports talk, and by high level I mean like big picture stuff for like the dumb masses.
We talking like the Tesla engineer that analyzed the angle of Elon's arm? No.
Oh my
Not
God.
high level.
You know, yeah. I mean, not to go full blown politics, but the way they were talking about Elon's arm, whether it was a salute, whether it reminds me of like our in the sports world, like Tuckgate, where we're just breaking down arm mechanics for an entire week. People are comparing it to other arm mechanics. What did this mean?
No one needs to get caught in a freeze frame at a wedding doing anything, because who knows? Your arms are in different spots.
Yeah.
It's very vulnerable. We need to move on as a society. Anyway, yeah, on annoyed.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to be annoyed the amount of disrespect given to this when guys on social media are saying, if it wasn't for the snow, we all know the Rams would have won. The Rams outplayed the Eagles. Like if this was an outlier game, then sure, but the Eagles have been winning the same way the entire season, and the entire season I keep hearing Eagles can't keep winning.
I think two things are happening. I think both, like, there was elements of the game that could allow you to land on an outcome that was, this was not, if you run this in 1,000 simulations, these underlying statistics suggest to me that the outcome was a little bit more to the Eagles side. That's me saying it as neutral as possible. So I know you're very much on edge right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not on edge. But it just explain to me how you're confident they would win if it didn't snow. They weren't winning. It's not like they were destroying them when there was no snow.
So I would explain.
Jalen Hurts ran a 44-yard touchdown with no snow.
I would have explained it differently. I would have said that basically the Eagles gain such an advantage on most teams in bad weather because of how they play football, that if you wanted to make the argument that the weather was advantageous to the Eagles, I would agree with that. Now, do I think that if they play this game in the dome, the Rams definitely win? No. Do I think it maybe helps the Rams by way of taking the Eagles back to the pack because you don't have that bad weather advantage? Yes. So by saying that, do I think there was a better chance the outcome of that game goes in the Rams' favor if not for the weather? Yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't played in good weather.
Yeah.
It was played in bad weather. Why was it played in bad weather? Because of the regular season mattering in the in the NFL, unlike college football, and the Eagles earning the right to play that game at home and get those advantages.
Yeah, my counter is I was at the game that was played in good weather, and I witnessed. To me, that's a
different data point,
right? But I'm saying, but I feel like if you're throwing out a potential where there is
I'm just simply saying that when the weather gets bad, no one in their right mind would argue that the weather getting bad was better for the Rams than the Eagles.
Sure, but let's look at the big picture.
That's all I'm saying.
They kicked their ass in a dome in LA, and they kicked their ass at home. Actually, the game in the snow was closer.
I don't have an opinion that is the Eagles were lucky to win that game.
Okay.
I think if anything, if you actually look at the flow of the game and the way the points were scored, it was a great game. I thought the Rams came and showed up. But at the end of the day, they had to score a garbage touchdown and a couple missed extra points to get a push. That to me is unfortunate, regardless of what the box score will tell you. So yeah, I mean,
my counter would say without the weather, I think the Eagles secondary does a better job covering the Rams receiver like they did in the previous match.
But you're getting caught up in a who gives a shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I think that the small piece of what these people are saying that is true is that the Eagles become a better version of themselves than the Rams.
Okay, but no one said that.
I know because they're saying it backwards. They're trying to say that the disadvantage provided by having to travel into this bad weather would have been completely absolved, and they're not adjusting anything about the Eagles' performance to suggest that, hey, look, the Eagles can't pass the ball. Like I've been predicting, which I've hit the nuts on this, that the Eagles would continue to advance, and we'd still talk about the offensive struggles and Jalen Hurts and all of the quote unquote disrespect you speak of.
Yeah.
But I also don't know, you gotta be above it. You're the number 2 seed. You're hosting the conference championship. You can't be on edge.
I can do whatever I want.
There's no. Why are you chirping down to the peasants?
To me, keeping the edge is if you're talking shit on my birds, I'll come and poke around.
But it's not. It's pointless shit talk.
Yeah, that's what the internet's about.
You know what? All those fucking nerds that consume the Kevin Cole and all these stat-based outcomes of games. You know what Kevin Cole had last week? In terms of who should have advanced in each game, he had the 4 winners different based on the box score.
Yeah.
What good is that to anyone? Okay, and
misleading box scores.
And guess what? You know what the playoffs are? They're small sample sizes, Sean.
Win and go.
So sometimes
win or go home.
Sometimes you have outliers, and yeah, the biggest takeaway if you're too busy worried about box scores, all that matters is turnovers. If you only look at turnovers, it's very obvious who's winning these football games.
Well, let's get into the games before we do. Shout out to DraftKings playoffs. We are talking playoffs. Turnovers, touchdowns. Touchdowns matter almost as much as turnovers. I saw the chat already pricing out some touchdown parlays over on DraftKings, and the price is pretty juicy. I know I'm going to be on some Dawson Knox. Potentially anytime touchdown. That's kicking around at like 7-1 over on DraftKings. And of course, new DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Reminder, lines and odds subject to change. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Shout out to the audio. All right. Anything else you'd like to? Any other haters out there that you want to?
No, I just if you're gonna talk shit on the Eagles and say stuff that's ludicrous, like the Rams definitely would have won had it not been for the snow. That's objectively a ludicrous statement with tons of data points.
Sounds like you're speaking directly to someone. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to track it down on Twitter, you can. But yeah, no, if you want to say Jalen Hurts in the passing game has not been firing on all cylinders, yeah, that's a legit criticism.
But saying that the snow made the Rams lose is not good criticism.
He's saying that we all know the Rams would have won had it not snowed. I think is an asinine take, and I'll go at you for it. And there's plenty of data to back it up.
It feels like so many things that smart people post on X about sports betting that it's just like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, who are you talking to? I understand why you want to consume box scores and understand when you have outlier results. That doesn't mean that outlier results can't happen. It's the craziest thing about smart people.
Yeah.
That it's like they want to explain how the world works.
I mean, it was,
and then when they're wrong, leverage the point to be like, well, there's this distribution and then there's the curve and then some dots fall outside the curve. And we like to call those outliers.
And Ryan, you're tuned into the Eagles angle, but I was chirping at the same people who said Lamar didn't cost the Ravens the game. Lamar,
all right,
this game didn't add to Lamar's legacy.
What is that?
As not being able to get it done in the playoffs. Of course it did. Of course it did. No one says Lamar sucks, but he hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs. And this game was another example of that. His 2 turnovers were the difference in the game. Yeah. Did Mark Andrews fuck things up by fumbling and dropping the 2-point? Sure. But to say you can't blame Lamar Jackson for the loss is insane. What do you mean you can't?
I like Lamar.
Ryan's been a big Lamar guy, and I've been more skeptical and try not to be a hater. I picked the Bills because I thought, hey, this 2 good teams. I like the home field advantage, and Lamar turns it over in the playoffs.
I think every game you can be critical of the losing team for the turnovers because, as we've been reminded over and over again, the box score, they should have won. If
and the
not
Bills,
for the turnovers.
The Bills won in the almost exact same way that the Eagles did. Josh Allen threw for 127 yards. Hurts had 128.
I have numbers on that. So yeah, Buffalo outgained by 143.
Yeah.
And the offensive yards per play that they were outgained by was like almost 3.
But they had turnovers. They took advantage of it. They had a home field. When they had to get touchdowns, they did. And they played good playoff football.
For some reason, if the team and the quarterback and the coach are liked, it is a positive. It's grit. It's clutch. Yeah. It's Derek Jeter, right? If you're not, for some reason, you're just lucky. Horseshoe up your ass. Anyway, interested. Anything? We were talking about this in the office, Sean, the rookie quarterback in the conference championship angle. So I did dig up some stats related to that.
I have plenty of stats. Let's get into the game. Yeah.
All right. First up, which again, always going to be the early game when Buffalo, Kansas City is happening. You've gone too far with this bit. Washington.
Sorry, Ryan. Just
the audio listeners they can't hear you read, but if for those
YouTube.com/sportsgambling podcast, I will check out my Inner Excellence book.
For some reason, Sean contributing to this ridiculous trend of people thinking that AJ Brown can read.
Oh wow! You want to talk about crazy?
What do you
takes.
mean? Went to Ole Miss. I cannot confirm nor deny. Washington, the 6th seed, heading up to the link, probably riding a bus. We did some research on this. Turns out NFL
Remember
teams.
how mad you got when I said they're not taking a plane to DC?
Turns out NFL teams.
What are you taking a Greyhound?
I'm sitting here. I'm over here admitting that I was wrong. Okay. And you still have to yell. That's not. You're holding the book Inner Excellence and you're trying to shout at me.
Right.
I feel like you're not focused on the message in the book.
No, I think this is a good for both of us, a good passage before we start the show. The biggest obstacle to peak performance for most performers in my 30 years is overanalysis. The tendency for the right reasons to start over analyzing things, which interferes with having a total focus when performing. The second biggest obstacle is caring too much, getting almost obsessed with having to be successful, caring so much that it interferes. To me, as a gut handicapper, Ryan, this is what I have to remember. When I get in trouble gambling, it's because I'm overthinking. Paralysis by analysis. Inner Excellence reminds me that, hey, you're a peak level performer for a reason. Trust your instincts. Don't question yourself. Be in the moment. Great advice as we pick these 2 games. And I think especially for one game, it really applies. Don't overthink.
This is not a bit at all. I felt like those 2 statements couldn't have been further apart from each other.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I think in competitive nature, the idea of doing the over analysis before the event, so you're not thinking at all when you're competing. I don't know. I'm already not buying this book. Not interested. Are we getting paid for this?
Well, you're a hater, Ryan. That's
I'm not. I'm not a hater, but are we getting paid for what's up with this?
No, I
The
just
books
remind people about inner excellence.
The metaphorical significance of you creating a distraction with inner excellence on this program, much like AJ Brown has created a distraction for the Eagles franchise. Unbelievable.
Grasping at straws.
Number is. What do you mean?
You're grasping at straws.
You have a book on the desk.
It's a fun prop.
Inner excellence, right behind Bobby Knight. Works out
before Spuds. Good place for it to be.
Yeah, maybe turn Bobby Knight around. But Philly -6, -285 on the money line, +230 for the Redskins. 47.5 is the total. I will say, Sean, it did stand out to me that both these games have the same exact point total. They don't seem like the same game. This is the third time the Eagles and Commanders will see each other this year. So lots to talk about how, and they split the home teams won and covered. Lots to talk about that. Also just insane home road trends happening between these two teams. You look at Philly on a historic home stretch. I believe this is game number 6. Philly last time they were on the road was against this Commanders team. Commanders, meanwhile, are on a 4-game road stretch. Which
this is the 4th road game in NFL history.
Not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, teams playing their 4th road game are 0-7 straight up, 1-5-1 ATS.
I think even
this is the fifth home game in a row for the Eagles.
I thought. I also I think the push is a generous push. So perhaps even 1-6 ATS on that number. When the numbers opened on Sunday and we were doing the recap show, I said the same thing I said the week before about the Eagles number. If we do some basic math, and then we talked about this in the office, last time they played, Eagles were 3.5 point favorites on the road, correct?
Yep.
Okay. We think maybe Washington, the crowd's back, 2-point home edge. We'll round up and we'll say 2 points. So you flip it around, 5.5 on a neutral. Philly gets 2.5 for home. I'll be generous there as well and say that's 8 points. So then we downgrade the Eagles because Hurts isn't playing as well, and it's 7. How do you get to 6?
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised it opened at 4.5. I guess they did that because it wasn't there wasn't clarity that Hurts was playing. Hurts is going to be playing. He was at the walkthrough there. I think from
is that even in question? Not at this point in the week.
No.
Okay.
They've announced he's playing. Quinyon Mitchell is playing with no restrictions. So those are the 2 big injuries on the Eagles side. To me, the biggest injury is on the Commander side. Unfortunately for them,
I just love how you hit the landing on the unfortunately every time we talk.
No, I don't root for injuries. I was looking forward to Jalen Carter going head to head with the Washington Commanders' best offensive lineman, Sam Cosmi. Unfortunately, he blew out his ACL. Ryan, don't laugh. This is a serious injury. He's going to be out for a year. So now Jalen Carter, a guy who
he's robbed of an opportunity, Sean.
The fans are robbed of the opportunity of getting to see Cosmi go head to head with Jalen Carter, and now Jalen Carter is going to be forced to go against a backup right guard, which I think is going to be a huge thing in this game. I was a guy who had Jalen Carter Defensive Player of the Year, and it was a long shot. It was like an 80-1 ticket. Didn't get there in the regular season, but maybe if you include the playoffs, he's certainly been a massive factor in both games. You could make a case kind of single-handedly save the game there against the Rams. I mean, if he doesn't get that sack and the pressure on Stafford in those last 2 games, he also forced that fumble of Kyron Williams. It's tough to say who you would give MVP to in that game because obviously Barkley on the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, right?
Well, if you lean offense, but truly Jalen Carter arguably saved the game and the forced fumble. He's just playing at an elite level, and to have a backup right guard go against him, I think is really going to. It's easier to give. If you have a backup tackle, in some ways it's easier because you can leave a tight end there.
It's interesting
and chip on them. No, I'm just saying like it's tougher. You know, you can do the center guard stuff, but the Eagles are strong all over the D line. So if you're gonna have to double Jalen Carter with a backup running right guard the entire game, I think you're gonna have your hands full.
I think the way you also attack it with just some misdirection in the running game. I mean, that's to me why this.
True, but like the other thing is Nolan Smith has been playing at a very high level. Like they do a good job of setting their edge. You know, Nakobe Dean being out, I was concerned about that against the Rams, but Oren Burks had a great game. I was watching some film of him like single-handedly blowing up a screen that really could have screwed the Eagles. Like Vic Fangio, you can't talk about the Eagles season without like mentioning Vic Fangio, what he's done to this team, how clean their tackling has been, how they tackle and rally, the effort that is just continually there from play to play, the way they force turnovers. They forced a number of turnovers, obviously in the Rams game. They've done a good job of forcing turnovers on Jaden Daniels. And, on the offensive side, like if you're a Lions fan, I think your big gripe is, why do we not run the ball more?
Yeah.
Every time Jahmyr Gibbs had the ball, he was awesome. 14 for 105 and 2 touchdowns. And you can criticize this Eagles team all you want. I don't think you can say they haven't given the ball to Saquon Barkley enough. Post bye, they've really committed themselves to the run. And I thought they did the right thing by resting Barkley week 18, not gassing him, risking injury to go after this record, because him getting that week of rest, he's had an awesome playoffs. He's on pace to like break John Riggins' playoff record. In the 2 games they've played against the Commanders, he has 296 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. And it's just the Eagles offensive line does a great job against them. And Saquon has done, just an excellent job finding holes, creating big plays. It might be 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, and then he'll hit you for 48. Incredibly explosive in the running game. And the Eagles have shown a commitment to the running game. And I just, why was Gibbs not getting the ball more? And even Bucky Irving had a pretty good game, 17 for 77. And why did they? I think you look at both games. The Commanders did a great job of forcing turnovers and capitalizing off those turnovers. Right? To me, I think that was really the difference. Now, if they can force Jalen Hurts to turn the ball over, and he's been playing it really tight to the vest, he's been super conservative in the passing game and has been very good about not fumbling. So if he plays a really clean game and the Eagles are committed to the run against the Washington Commanders, 26 in rush defensive DVOA, going against a rookie in a conference championship game. Now, again, if you think the Commanders are going to win, make sure you record this game, because literally, no joking aside, you're witnessing history. You're witnessing the first rookie quarterback to ever take his team to a Super Bowl. Is it possible? Yeah, sure. Anything's possible. And Jaden Daniels looks great, but I think the odds are stacked against them to go in to this hostile environment and get it done against this Eagles defense. Like, what am I missing here? Like, this is the 4th road game. No rookie quarterback has ever won 3 playoff games, obviously, because that would mean they would have been in the Super Bowl. But now to win, this 3rd road playoff game, I think it's just a lot to ask. And this might be the coldest game Jaden Daniels has ever played in his life.
The weather aspect of it, I did not even consider. I'll be honest with you, but I do have a trend on the idea of, let me pull this up here. So, well, first of all, you mentioned the rookie angle, and even just the stat lines of those rookies in the conference championship. Basically, Mark Sanchez back in 2009 had the best game: two touchdowns, 1 interception. Flacco, 3 picks, 0 touchdowns. Big Ben, 3 picks, 2 touchdowns. Sean King, shout out to Sean King, former VSiN host, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdown. How did Brock Purdy play against your Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, he got knocked out.
How'd that go?
What was his official stat line?
I don't have that. I'm not good. I mean, remember when they were like, They wanted to change the rule.
They were all mad because they didn't have that third emergency quarterback, and then meanwhile they changed the rule, and then they still didn't use it for their third emergency quarterback. So his official stat line, Ryan, was 4 for 4, 23 yards, sacked once. So yeah, I mean he took care of business.
The Commanders are one of 15 teams that entered the conference championship on a 7-game win streak. So essentially riding high, stock high. That's why we're getting a discount on the number. Since 2004, those teams are 4-11 ATS.
Yeah,
in that spot. So you even have a buy, sell high, buy low kind of situation here. Did you talk about how good teams are when they're playing in their 4th or more consecutive home game?
No, but that's a good angle. Because I mentioned how tough it is to win that 4th road game, but I didn't see the trend coming back the other way.
So this is the other side of the trend. And it doesn't happen very often, but essentially over the last 20 years, this is the 10th time it's happened. Previously 7-2 straight up, but only 5-4 ATS. So, they're going to win the game kind of trend, I guess. But I think the being at home for a while matters less than the team that's constantly having to travel.
Yeah, I think it's got to add up for this team, right? I mean, talk to me like how if you're talking yourselves into the Commanders.
What's the argument against the Eagles?
Yeah, I guess it's like
Jaden Daniels is on one.
Okay.
And they're just between Kingsbury and Quinn, they're just dialing up the right shit at the right time.
Yep.
And they're getting the right bounces.
Okay.
Also, some might bring up the fact that in January the Eagles are 4-8 ATS under Sirianni. I didn't actually verify that one myself, but
Hurts 4-0 straight up and 3-1 ATS home playoff games.
Okay. So again, that's a smaller sample size. You asked for the case against it, and again, here we are. No, on edge.
Talking. Let's go.
The trends for the home team in the third divisional matchup are slightly in favor, or are slightly against the home team, but not enough for. Though I'm not a big fan of those trends in general. Yeah, I think the argument for is very simply. The game happens in a way where Washington comes out, they're able to score on that opening drive. Maybe it's a longer drive, and then Philly comes out and has a dreadful, to your point, Barkley gets bottled up a couple of those 2-3 yard carries, not the big one. And Jalen Hurts, bad throw. Maybe it's an interception. Commanders come back out, score again. It's 14-0, short early into the game, and things get tight. That's to me the only version of I think the Commanders have to immediately get up. I think if they fall down, it's going to be hard. I think specifically, at some point the offense, you would expect them to have some failures on 3rd and 4th down, which they've not had a lot of, and perhaps this defense can put them in longer situations for the Eagles. The hardest part for me is the fact that this Washington defense. I mean, they were winning the entire game against the Detroit Lions. To your point on what Detroit was able to do in the ground game, they were winning the game and they were giving up that kind of run game. So to me, it's very easy to look at the run game. So quick question, because I haven't heard you talk about them, but the injury report, you did mention how Quinyon Mitchell will be fine. You mentioned how Jalen Hurts will be fine. I saw Cam Jurgens didn't practice. Is that at all alarming?
Yeah, Cam Jurgens and Dallas Goedert DNP,
because that's the run game. To me, that could impact the run game and their ability to completely dominate.
Now, this was DNP in a walkthrough, so the
don't explain the injury report to people.
No. I'm just saying
it is crazy because most weeks
it's a simulated injury report because they're doing a walkthrough. Now, if Cam Jurgens is legit not able to practice Thursday and or Friday, That would certainly be concerning. I want to see Cam Jurgens out there. He's a big part of their offensive line, and so is Dallas Goedert has been. Like Dallas Goedert, Calcaterra has done a good job, but Dallas Goedert way more is just a better tight end, both blocking and in the passing game. And Dallas Goedert, as much as the passing game struggled, he's been really a bright spot in these 2 playoff games. So if either of those guys can't go, in particular, I would say Cam Jurgens. Now they have a bunch of options. The Eagles are pretty good, at offensive. Like I would think Landon Dickerson would probably move to center, and then Tyler Steen would come in. Landon Dickerson, I don't know. They have a bunch of options to what they could do and bring in a pretty good replacement. Like they have decent depth at the offensive line position, but I would certainly be concerned with that. So something to keep an eye on. Again, it's a simulated walkthrough injury report, so I don't know how much to take from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly it's most of what we're fed early in the week throughout the season. So I do think there holds some level of significance to put a player in that position. So and yeah, I think to me that's the matchup that is so obviously in favor of the Eagles. It makes it easy to click the Eagles.
Well, and also too, like to me, a team that wins with defense and running game and is at home, like you squeeze down a lot of variance. Like if your game is built on the passing game and winning on the road, like there's just a lot of things that can kind of go wrong with that scenario where you're just simply handing the ball off. Now, if Hurts pulls a Baker Mayfield and completely misses that fumble that Baker Mayfield did. Yeah, if that happens, Eagles could be fucked if he starts throwing an interception. Yeah.
Weather.
Ryan, this is a good little trivia. When was the last time? How many interceptions has Jalen Hurts thrown since September 22nd?
What's September 22nd?
That was their 3rd game. So after the first 3 games, how many interceptions has he thrown?
4.
1.
Played the game perfectly.
No, I'm just saying he threw 4 in the first 3 games, threw 1 since. Like and it's frustrating at times
he's
how
taking
conservative
instead of throwing the ball.
Yeah, he's taking sacks. But I mean, also when you have Saquon Barkley, you don't need to be aggressive in the passing game. Yeah, I get why it's frustrating to watch, and I'm frustrated with how conservative he is at times. And then let's also talk about the passing game. Devonta Smith has had a bunch of good games with Jalen Hurts at quarterback against his Commanders secondary. He's a guy that I always think can get loose. He had a deep shot, pretty decent ball placement by Hurts. He got lit up illegally, but in a lot of scenarios, maybe he comes down with that. So I do think they take a couple deep shots with Devonta, and I wouldn't be surprised if he brings them in.
And it does, yeah. I think the take will be as we get closer to the game that the Commanders would maybe produce a more entertaining Super Bowl. I feel like that's my prediction for the take that's going to piss you off the most.
That what?
Well, you're going to hear someone make, or maybe I'll just make the take that the Commanders would create a more entertaining.
I get it. People want. I mean, I understand as someone who works in the storyline industry. Yeah, rookie quarterback making his first Super Bowl debut.
More electric offense.
Sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, sure. If you care about flash and that kind of stuff, sure. But if you care about grit
the boundary
and blue collar, I mean, the Eagles are truly a lunch pail team.
Jalen Hurts ain't blue collar. He's got all that money now.
No, but he's a blue collar approach.
Pink collar, white collar.
So Ryan, what do you officially? Weather.
40 degrees.
Coldish.
So yeah, 40 degrees feels like 33.
Okay.
By the end of the game, it could be freezing, but it does seem like it's not going to be raining, snowing, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of wind. So decent conditions. As far as what I'm doing in the game, this should be very clear to anyone who's listened to this show. I laid out a very objective case as to why even if you've become much higher on the Commanders and much lower on the Eagles, I think you're still putting a lot of value on what the Commanders are on right now. And I look, and I've watched a team go on a run on the road.
But that was they had a veteran quarterback and they had a better defense.
The biggest difference is like you generally when teams go on these types of runs, there's a defensive component, and their defensive component has been like good fortune with takeaways. And so as long as the team that hasn't been giving the ball away doesn't give the ball away, it seems hard that Washington would have a chance here. So not only would I endorse playing this one up to 7, I would be looking to play the alts. 30 to 13, 30 to 16, something in that regard.
I got it officially. I'll call it at 28-17 is my, the Eagles win by 11.
That's no missed extra points.
Oh yeah. And then they get a 2-point.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The Eagles do have a nice. Jake Elliott does have a nice streak of 4-0 when he misses an extra point in the playoffs. The Eagles are.
I'll go 30 to 16.
30-16. Okay. All right. So you have it as. I guess there's a bunch of different ways you can get home.
Pleaser material.
So I'll go 28-17. That feels about right. But I like your 30-16 as well. They're a nice 14-point victory. And of course, Ryan, before we get to the other game, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Get in Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SGPN. Get a nice little deposit bonus, 50% up to $1,000.
Oh my God!
Kramer, what do you like in the in this game? Or what do you like for conference championship?
I've put some. It does seem like do you want to play an Eagle or a Commander?
Do I want to? I mean, we can do whatever players you want to do.
It does seem like the idea of Ertz having a tremendous amount of catches is on the table.
Okay, I'm not going to be playing that, but
what do you mean? You don't think that if they're down 2 touchdowns, he's not going to be checked down, Charlie?
Yeah, certainly.
You can't even get yourself into that kind of headspace.
No,
really. The man helped you win $200,000.
Oh, I love Zach Ertz, but I'm not betting his.
Wow,
I'm not entering any sort of contest.
Jaden Daniels rushing
fantasy
yards as well.
Under on those, okay.
No, under. Under, I think indicates they're playing well on offense.
That wasn't the game script in the first time they played. They held them to 7 carries for 18 yards.
All right, so we're only playing someone from the Eagles.
We can talk about the Bills Chiefs. Too.
Okay. I thought we were focused. If we're going Bills Chiefs, why would we not just go back to Kelsey finding the end zone? Like it's very obvious. I
like that
2 types of game plans.
I also like Dawson Knox. I don't know if you want to get crazy and play his higher rushing receiving touchdown.
Why don't we save the crazy for when CJ's in here?
All right. Do we want to do his higher 13.5 receiving yards?
Did he get a catch?
What do you mean?
In the last game?
No, but that's why we play him this time because they're so bad against the tight end.
Okay.
That's my angle, but
he had that look in the Josh missed him.
Yeah. So you wanted to play higher receiving yards? Okay.
No, I actually just make two touchdown projections.
Okay. Travis Kelce.
We'll take the spice
higher and Dawson Knox higher. Put those together. $100 entry returns you $1,159.
Oh, I'm in.
Get in over on Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Yeah, I mean, I like both the tight ends in that game, and I also like Rhythm. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Sign up over there. Get your Rhythm. Get the models cooking you up. Player props, picks, projections. Anytime we do a props episode, I have at least one prop courtesy of our good buddies over on Rhythm. I've even been using them to help dominate in the college basketball podcast as well. All right, let's see what they got props wise. There's a bunch of interesting one here. Oh, okay. Good buddy Matt Collins. Matt Collins over 13.5 receiving yards It's as crazy. His number was like 1.5 last time. I still like him at 13.5.
Really, it's
Josh,
13.5.
yeah, Josh Allen trusts him.
Well, I think it's also the kind of game he's going to be on the field so much. They love running the ball now, and he's essentially their alpha blocking back. I was diving into the Amari Cooper situation. It doesn't seem like it's bad. There's nothing negative. It's more just. He's just not in the packages they're running out of. So it's I don't. Yeah.
Mac Hollins over 13.5 receiving yards. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your 7-day free trial today. Kramer, what are we doing for the AFC Conference Championship?
Well, it's the 1 and 2 seeds. It's the Bills and the Chiefs. Like I said earlier in the show, it seems like this is where we always needed to land. Chiefs -1.5. Big question mark over my head. -125 on the money line. Bills +105. 47.5 is the total. Same total. So okay, we're back to we're between a rock and a hard place here, Sean. It is a situation where we watched the Bills earlier this season beat the Chiefs. We know the Bills have been laser focused on one thing, beating the Chiefs.
Yep.
But they didn't get the 1 seed.
No.
And the Chiefs are at home.
Yeah.
And even though they didn't look very good last week, which by the way, the Chiefs were outgained by 124 yards.
They're frauds.
The Bills were outgained by 143
They're
yards.
Frauds.
Neither of these teams, according to the nerds,
even the Commanders, even the Commanders got outgained because a lot of it was garbage yards. Obviously,
Commanders was like 20 yards and they were both around 500. The other games were a little bit more stark, and yeah, both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills should have lost according to the numbers, Sean. So good thing they play the games.
Some would argue the score is the most important number, Ryan. Well, I wouldn't be one of those crazy people.
I will say I think that's going to be one of my new bits. I'm going to start replying to these people that the score is in the box score.
Yeah.
Worth noting. Yeah. So basically it's Chiefs less than a field goal at home with Patrick Mahomes
in the playoffs. Yeah. 7-0 straight up and ATS when either listed as an underdog or favorite of less than a field goal.
So yeah, I guess that's
and going back to the passage we read in Inner Excellence, as a gut handicapper,
we didn't read anything. You read it.
I read it aloud. My gut tells me, hey, if you're going to fade the Chiefs at home in the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you got to have a good reason. And
Josh Allen.
I've looked at this entire week and I'm trying to find a good reason. And you know, obviously Patty Mahomes, Showtime Mahomes, everyone's going to be sucking him off. And cause it's
Showtime Mahomes.
Although I feel like there's a little blowback, like Aikman and Buck were kind of giving it to Patrick Mahomes, calling him out for the flopping.
What was your take on that?
I loved it.
As Buck and Aikman haters.
Yeah, I thought I was listening to a podcast where they called Troy Aikman unprofessional, and
what?
I burst out laughing because he's saying what everyone was thinking, that like, yeah, it's one thing to say you get superstar calls. And I think you just, as gamblers, we can bitch about it and it's fine. I'm here for you, but also like you have to factor that into your handicapping. And to the point where like it got crazy, like when he's like stopping right before he goes out of bounds, waiting to get hit so he can flail his arms off. It's like, that's bush league in my mind. You're Patrick Mahomes. You're supposed to be better than that. As a fan, I mean, if I'm complaining about it and I got money on you, Ryan, I'm incredibly biased when I got a ticket in my hand. I'm not like Colby who gets like, if I get a bullshit like roughing the passer, I'm going first down. I don't give a fuck. I care about my money.
Yeah.
But there were times there in that game I'm like, geez, that's like kind of embarrassing, Patrick Mahomes. And I hope the Bills win. I hope the Bills win.
Really?
I do. Because it would be more fun to see Buffalo Bills than the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. As just a fan of football. That being said, that Bills defense looked kind of shoddy at times. And in particular, they were incredibly weak to the tight end. Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews kind of got whatever they wanted, with the exception of Mark Andrews fumbling and Mark Andrews dropping the ball in that 2-point. Like if Mark Andrews plays a cleaner game, maybe they do get it done. Of course, they do have Lamar Jackson, who's turnover prone, and I think that's the Bills' formula to come in here, punch Kansas City in the mouth, force those turnovers. And I don't really have anything negative to say about Josh Allen. The fact that he only threw for 127 passing yards, less than Jalen Hurts, I don't think was a big deal, because the guy plays to win the game.
What does Jalen Hurts have to do with this game?
Oh no, I'm just saying.
Oh,
like,
just happened to bring him up.
Just a lot of people
just happened to bring him up.
A lot of people shit on Jalen Hurts, and his stats were better than Josh Allen.
My God.
I thought Josh Allen had a very good game.
I'm gonna hide under the table.
I thought Josh Allen had a very good game, and I think that's the kind of game he needs to play in Kansas City. What scared me, Ryan, honestly, was, now again, we're splitting hairs here, because obviously the Bills are a very good team, but you look at that game against Denver, struggled a little bit early. And why were they struggling? Because Josh was pressing. And I think I would be, as a Bills fan, as a Bills backer, I'd be a little concerned about Josh pressing. And after the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season, like they've done a number of times, Patrick Mahomes was like, "I'll see you guys in the playoffs," and he had that circled. And
yeah.
If I'm going to go against Patrick Mahomes, and also like the Chiefs defense, still very good, still playing at a pretty high level here. Like, I see Patrick Fisher in the chat talk me into why I should be backing the Bills over the Chiefs. And maybe it is the turnover thing, but if this game is close to a pick, if you're giving me 3.5, I'm all over the Bills. But if at -2, -1.5, it's pretty close to a pick. Who is more likely to have a turnover? The Chiefs at home or the Bills on the road? To me, my handicap is almost exactly the same of Ravens Bills.
Yeah,
pretty even teams, good matchups both sides. I could see a case for both teams winning it, but why would I not take the home team in this instance? Like, what is it possible? It's a simple handicap, but I think it's a simple look.
Are the Chiefs, any chance we get Chiefs as a dog? The Bills are taking the money.
So. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, would you
draft or per?
I feel like you'd need a decent amount of movement to get them to a dog at this point, right?
Per VSiN, well, I mean, they're at 1.5, so no, I don't think it would take a ton. Per VSiN, they're at about a 2-to-1 split, so 66% on Buffalo, 33% on Kansas City. Now that's the circus splits would suggest this is a pros versus Joe's game. So pros being on the Chiefs, which makes a lot of sense. Sean, you also, I mean, there's also just a million reasons why would you bet against Kansas City? 7, they've been to this game 7 straight seasons, which is almost, if you really sit down and think about what Mahomes is up to and Andy Reid, like this is an incredible run. Mahomes is 13-4 in home revenge spots.
Yeah.
That's another one. This is a revenge game. You look at Mahomes' record late in the season, January, February, he's 15-2 straight up at home or neutral site games. Fun fact: who was the last quarterback to defeat Patrick Mahomes in the postseason?
Last Joe Burrow.
Tom Brady.
Really?
Yes. Burrow was the year before.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Yeah, I just
no, and
you can turn the Mahomes as a less than a field goal favorite or dog prism however you want, and it comes out with the suggestion to bet on Mahomes. Yeah, 20 straight since he lost to Brady in the playoffs. That's what he's sitting on. So yeah, I don't think we need to. I wanted to get cute. I very badly wanted to get cute and find a way to take the Bills here.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I spent the entire week thinking and
no McDermott, activating sleeper cell conversations.
He's going to need the 9/11 of all 9/11 pep talks to get him up for this.
Maybe the weather. Could the weather do it?
But Kansas City.
No.
I mean, remember Patrick Mahomes shattering his helmet in that cold weather.
It's gonna be.
It's business as usual for Kansas City.
It's gonna be colder than the Eagles game, but it's it'll be freezing. But no, it doesn't seem like it's gonna snow. It's not. It's very boring. It's very boring. And the further tune into the prop show definitely, but we're gonna run back some playoff classics.
Well, and Travis Kelce really close to hitting the all-time playoff record. I kind of mentioned that why we like Kelce anytime.
Sean,
I was talking last week.
Plus 175 I had for that anytime touchdown.
That was crazy. They've clearly adjusted it.
But I think I might just have to run it back.
Yeah, and, even at plus 130, it's pretty good.
All right, here we go. I got some. You wanna maybe our buddy NFL ref stats. He might have a reason to take the Bills. Apparently, so they're deploying Clete Blakeman, everyone's favorite.
Yep.
Who has been very notable.
He's not great for home teams.
For the away team this year. Yeah. 53. He's number 1 in the league for penalties assessed to the home team. And Blakeman is positive for Josh Allen, who is 6-2 in games that Blakeman has ref. So I mean, if this is true and the NFL said, my God, people think we're rigging it for the Chiefs, aka we are rigging it for the Chiefs. We have to deploy the guy who is going to look the best for us.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Small sample size.
It doesn't strike me as a full on Tim Donaghy situation.
Here's the problem:
as much as the average fan wants to see the Bills in the Super Bowl over the Chiefs, or just want to see the Chiefs lose, Taylor Swift being at the Super Bowl again is a cash cow for the NFL.
You have so they have like all-star crews at this point, and he also points out later that you have members in this all-star crew of Blakeman, Hockley, and Sean Smith. You have the top 3 roughing the passer units in the league. So that would be the zig back to this is maybe not so bad for Mahomes. Because to your point, he's gotten very good at making it impossible for the refs to not call it.
And
I would say to your point, it's borderline like bitch. It's Caleb Williams is doing it a little bit too. This is how it started in soccer. You realize you get the call, the refs gives you the call, and the next thing you know, you're doing some sort of silhouette. Or whatever the fuck dance move, flopping out of bounds, dropping your legs, being a baby. It reminds me of a kid who doesn't want to go to sleep, like they're passed out on the couch and they just go completely limp. That's Mahomes.
Yeah,
but that's why we bet on him.
Yeah, no, I mean,
because I
keep calling it a moment of clarity where I had it like a month ago where I go, I'm gonna.
It's so great.
Like I would, if I had the Texans last week at 8.5, and now certainly that game was weird because, if you bet a day of, it was 9.5, whatever.
If you're a donkey, you lost.
I was like 8. I go, 8.5. Oh man, of course I'm gonna get screwed. The Texans are gonna hit this field goal. Nope, got blocked.
Yep.
Oh hey, this drive's gonna come down. Oh, roughing the passer. Oh wait, this intentional running out the punt, the safety, that's gonna bone me. Oh no, wait, it only knocked it down from 11 to 9. I still cash. Like there were so many times where I go, I'm about to rip up my ticket, and then I remembered, oh no, you bet on the Chiefs. Don't worry about it. They're gonna figure it out.
I will say,
and that was 9 points. Like the whole reason to take the Texans last week was Chiefs struggle against big spreads.
Yeah.
Texans can move the ball. They have a good defense, good secondary. Didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
I'll deny that I said this.
Okay.
But I did enjoy Troy Aikman and Joe Buck's performance during that game.
Oh, I mean, them giving it to Patrick Mahomes was very enjoyable. I'm like, holy shit, am I starting to like Troy Aikman, Ryan? I had a weird moment. We are in a safe place here. And we also know Joe Buck sucks. They still have that koozie kicking around somewhere. But
every time Joe Buck makes a reference to his failed HBO nighttime show, I agree. For some reason it endears me to him.
But just going back to the matchup stuff, to me, it's the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball with tight ends. Kelsey, maybe even Noah Gray gets involved. Pick your poison with one of those receivers might have a decent shot. Kareem Hunt, Pacheco is like kind of a fun back and forth balance. It makes it tough a little bit for props, but they have a ton of weapons. And on the other side, the Chiefs defense is still pretty good. They come up when they need to.
I thought the concerning point I would bring up is they looked like they could get pushed around. I didn't expect them to get pushed around by the Texans. They got pushed around by the Texans a little bit.
Yeah. Could
the Bills do the same thing to them? If they can, like, that certainly seems like it helps their chances.
Well, and I do. Bills defense is interesting because obviously they did a very good job against Denver, minus that that first drive where Troy Franklin got that touchdown. But like kind of when they needed their defense wasn't there. That to me was a little bit troubling. Matt Milano playing a little bit better for them. I get it. This is the Bills Super Bowl, and as an Eagles fan, optimistic. But who knows if the Eagles do win and we do play the Bills. I almost like the idea of, the Bills just took down the Chiefs. They probably already dumped the Gatorade before they get to the. I mean, Ryan, I'll let you answer this question because people have asked me. They said, Sean, if you're fortunate enough, to beat the Commanders.
Oh, well, you looking ahead?
No. Okay. People have asked me this.
Okay.
I say I'm taking it one game at a time. I'm not looking past the Commanders. But people have asked me,
if you were,
who would you rather play? If you were an Eagles fan,
is that a stupid? That's the stupid question.
What?
Who you'd rather play?
Why? It's
no. I mean, like, I know the answer to it.
Oh, you think it's not even worth the debate?
I don't. It's worth the debate. I just think it's a.
So you would automatically say the Bills.
Well,
let's say you had an Eagles.
Are you answering this or as an average Eagles fan?
You have an Eagles Super Bowl future, Ryan. What would you rather face in the the Super Bowl?
Bills by 1 million.
Okay. Because if
I had the future,
I think if
I was an Eagles fan, I'd want revenge.
I think there are some matchups that I like against. Yeah, I don't know. You could maybe talk yourself into wanting to play KC, and certainly revenging the 2022 loss would be awesome. But you also sound dumb saying like, "Hey, I want to play the Chiefs." But if the Bills beat the Chiefs, maybe this Bills team is the one of destiny.
Wasn't part of Vic Fangio's demise was that Mahomes solved his defense too? That might be somewhat concerning.
What demise of Vic Fangio? He's having one of the best years of his career.
Again, you are being very sensitive. When he lost his job as the head coach of the Broncos and then had to be a defensive coordinator, that was caused because Mahomes was solving his.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a good angle.
And that was his demise. That's why he ended up on Philly. He didn't end up on Philly because he was doing a good job at the place before. I thought
he was doing a good job.
You're very much.
No, I thought he was doing a good job with the Miami defense, and you saw how much worse their defense got when they got rid of Vic Fangio.
No, that's a bad take. I think they were like he was clearly not doing a good job in the locker room. There was trouble down there, and maybe it was more than what he could fix.
I think it's above his pay grade.
Maybe, but yeah, it's fair to say that I see what you were trying to do there, but it was not necessary.
I think
that was a dumpster fire.
Okay. I'm not going to argue about Miami's defense. Patrick Fisher, Bills fan, saying Michael Jackson would have wanted to beat the best. Yeah, well, I think whoever wins Chiefs Bills is truly the best team coming out of the AFC. I think it's going to be the Chiefs, and I look forward to a potential opportunity to play the Chiefs.
Michael Jackson. I don't know what he was interested in.
I do. I know what he was interested in, and no place for it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Jordan or
did I say Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize. I was reading comments off the thing.
Jordan also has some checkered past, but
I mean, Jordan's so good. He pulled off the Hitler mustache. I mean, I was kind of reminding me. There was the whole
imagine if someone did that today, like Durant just started rocking the Hitler.
Well, you got to be really good. Just imagine the conversation. You show up. I just feel bad for like the hair and makeup on the Fruit of the Looms commercial. Like, okay, so just want to get a quick shape. No, I'm Michael Jordan. This is what I'm going with. Yeah, just we were gonna like maybe trim it down a little bit. No, this is what I want. Michael Jordan also apparently like huge dick on commercial shoots to the point where he just goes
huge dick everywhere.
And yeah, whatever. He earned the right. He goes, hey, I'm going to be here for an hour, get it done. And I'm going home. And so probably just some makeup person shit their pants knowing they let Michael, and no one had any, the commercial actors. You don't break face.
It's Michael Jordan.
We got to remind people of this.
What's worse, the Michael Jordan Hitler mustache or the Jerry Rice fried chicken helmet?
I mean, I think the Jerry Rice fried chicken helmet is funny. Call me crazy. And hey, he's doing a commercial for fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's funny to have, a face mask with the chicken bone in it. If you want to say it brings up certain stereotypes, Ryan, I'm unaware of those.
Yeah.
We just got to look at this. The Michael Jordan Hitler mustache.
What do we got? Oh no.
I mean, look at that thing. What else could it mean? Now, I guess he's got the little goatee under it, but
what is he, a French painter? How could someone
how could no one say anything?
Come on, MJ.
It's great.
I mean, that he does look queer is not the right word, but he looks very
You had it with French paint.
It just doesn't look right. It looks like AI.
Patch,
it looks like AI made it. Like wait a second. You got a black guy with a Hitler mustache, so you didn't do that right.
So Kramer, officially we're on the Kansas City Chiefs laying the 1.5.
Yeah.
Do you got an exact score prediction for this one?
Doesn't this seem like it's going to be a low scoring game?
I think there'll be a little fireworks.
Really?
I got this KC 28-24.
28-24.
Yeah. What are you doing?
23-20.
Okay.
Chiefs win.
Got some field goal action there.
Who knows? Maybe you got a 2-point conversion, a missed extra point, all sorts of
Andy Reid shenanigans. All right, do we give out a lock here? I forget how we do conference championship.
Yeah, we can lock it up.
Okay, lock Eagles. Let's fucking go. What's your lock, Ryan?
I'm gonna lock up the Chiefs.
Okay.
I would lock up both teams actually. Are we doing two locks?
Right, 2 locks. KC 1.5 is my second lock. Kramer's second lock is the Eagles. I'm guessing.
All right. What's your dog?
My dog is parlaying them. Or figuring out the best. Obviously shop around, compare the exacta to the parlay.
So you like the over though for this game. You like the over you like the over for this game, under for the first game.
Yeah. And I would say if I had to pick a total I like better, it would be the Eagles Commanders under.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I think the Eagles defense is going to do a good job on Washington. And I think if you watch the Eagles all season, they're an anaconda. They get that early lead. Doesn't matter what it is. And they've actually, it doesn't even actually matter if they get the early lead because they were bad in the first quarter points wise for a big portion of the season. At some point they're going to get up and they're just going to keep running Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's awesome. I know everyone says, oh, what if they load the box? What if they load the box? What do you think teams have been doing all year? You don't think they tried to load the box you don't think the Packers loaded the box? You don't think the Rams loaded the box? You don't think they see that Hurts is throwing for like 130 passing yards? You don't think teams have tried to stop that? Do you think the personnel for the Commanders is so much different than all the other defenses they played, or the scheme that they can shut them down? It's possible, but I just don't see them stopping Saquon Barkley. It's the NFL. Anything's possible, but give me the Eagles laying the 6. Kramer?
Yeah, I did mention it earlier, so I wanted to bring it up, but I would, you can do Eagles minus 13.5 plus 250. For alt. Okay.
Sign me up for that.
I would look into that. Sean, you should be aware Eagles minus 19.5 is plus 510.
Let's go. Ladder it. Ladder the Eagles off.
If you wanted to do halftime, full time, any interest in that? Do you think the Eagles boat race? I kind of like the idea of
what is the Eagles halftime, full time?
The Eagles halftime, full time is -135.
Okay. Do you like that better than the Eagles -6?
I'm not. I'm probably not gonna. If I ever play halftime, full time, I'm playing one team to win the first half and the other team to win the full game.
Yeah. Like
so if I don't
alternate,
if I don't think that could happen, so like Washington halftime, Eagles full game, 6-1. I don't like that for this game. Do I maybe do that for the Bills game? Bills first half, Chiefs full game, 7-1. Yes. Do we take a piece of that, Sean?
What is it? It's Bills win the first half, Chiefs win game.
7-1. Tie.
Oh man, I
tie
like
at halftime, Chiefs win the game is 17-1.
I saw buddy Adam Rosenberg had had overtime in the Bills KC game at 14-1.
You know how that is though, Sean. You can't.
Well, also I always factor in my rooting interest. I'm not going to watch a game for 4 hours rooting for a tie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's priced and it's a fun thing to get down on, but my sanity, I'm not gonna do it.
And did you want to know the price of our exact squares?
Sure.
All right. What did you have for the Eagles?
28-17 square.
Okay. Eagles 8. That's 19-1. That doesn't seem
8-7. Oh wait, you just played Eagles 8 or 8-7?
Eagles 8, Washington 7.
Is 19-1?
Yeah,
that's a bad price.
That's not a very good price. All right, we're gonna stop this bit right now.
No. All right, so I will add
any quarter. That's for any quarter though.
Oh, I don't know if it really helps you that much with 8-7. That's more of a final score.
Yeah,
anyway.
you want a longer price on that, I think.
Yeah. I'm not touching that.
Okay.
All right. We got more props coming up tomorrow with our buddy CJ Sullivan, aka the Laddie Daddy. Hey, get in on the merch store. Use the promo code Big Game. Get you 15% off everything in the merch store. We got some new stuff dropping between now and SB 59. And of course, DraftKings Sportsbook, promo code SGP. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/RITHMM. Beeson Show Friday night on Sirius as well. So make sure you check that out. And of course,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Best of luck this weekend, Sean
Kramer. Let it ride.